Good evening, viewers. What a warm way to welcome you to Lntv News Live. 30 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. I'm Cecilia Glickly Clark anchoring tonight's edition, and these are the top stories. African Union's group of ambassadors named the head of Liberia's permanent mission to the Union, Ambassador Ase Yanimo, as chair. Agriculture Minister urges stakeholders in the oil palm sector to transform the sector into agro-business venture. Liberian Immigration Service discloses the deportation of 5 Liberians from the United States of America on multiple charges. And on the international scene, Egypt executes the country's most wanted jihadists. These stories, plus much more, are coming up. First, let's take a short break to be right back. Please keep watching. Many thanks for rejoining us. Let's take our developments. Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Jala says the country wants to maintain resilient health sector that responds to disease outbreaks and provide regular services to the people at the same time. Speaking in an interview with the station, Dr. Jala encouraged all Liberians to help in maintaining all preventive measures in the country.
You have a small child or 2-year-old child. We cannot keep the child separate from the mother. So we have provided masks for them to protect them. We are monitoring their temperature, and they are in separate rooms, but the mom wants to be with her children. So we have to keep them all together in separate rooms with a mask. And also, somebody concerned about drugs, uh, we have started our new distribution of drugs, so there should be drug there. We're asking you who call in and other people to observe. Nobody call when the drugs are there. They only call when the drugs are not there. So we want you to be part of it when we get there and provide the drugs. For this round, we are going to make sure there are drugs there. There are other reagents there for people for different communities to be prepared in terms of regular. You can't only focus on coronavirus. You have to. There's people having measles outbreak, Lassa fever outbreak. There are people getting sick, so we have to continue our normal services, and our health facility have to be running normally while we look at the coronavirus. This is why all along you've been hearing about a resilient healthcare system, and the resilient healthcare system supposed to be able to handle outbreaks as they continue to cater to the daily affairs of the Liberian people. Well, we want to send this message out to community dwellers, community leaders. Just be an advocate. Join us. If you don't understand anything and you need flyers or posters to put in your community, go to Enfield and they will supply you with these things and whatever training you need to be an advocate for your community, because the community is the way to go. You have to carry the word out. If you don't see a health practitioner there, you can be the practitioner for your community.
Meanwhile, Liberia Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Carter called on security authorities and local authorities to prevent people crossing using informal borders. Dr. Carter said the measure is in response to the cases of coronavirus confirmed in Senegal.
In Grand Jeda County, Martha Totman Hospital, where it is built based on the population base, based on the amount of patients they received, the hospital is so small, very, very small for what was built there. And so GIZ came over, sent their people from Germany, they came and did the assessment. Based on those assessments and everything, they realized there is a need for a newer hospital, but to be put into a place where in the future we can also do an expansion. Where the present hospital is, you cannot do any expansion in that area because the entire area has been taken over by community and so forth. So there have been a lot of encroachment in the area. And this is what it is leading to that. So it is the German government that, in partnership with the government of Liberia, that is going to construct a new hospital in Zouedro. On the fact that we have a case in Senegal, as I said, we're going to strengthen the border crossing area. So an immediate joint visit of borders in Nimba, Maryland, Grand Jade, and River G is going to happen immediately. Initiate training of trainers for commanders and their counterpart at the 45 official borders. These are things we're going to do immediately. Provide buckets and chlorine to all 45 borders and seaports. Work with border patrol and local government to provide awareness at all informal crossing, not to allow people to use these but push them to the formal crossing area. Daily coordination meetings with all of the 45. So when we institute these things, definitely we get report on a daily basis on how many persons came in, what their status, which country they have come from. All in all, we want to say a big thank you to the Liberian people. We want to say a thank you to the government of Liberia.
USA Liberia Deputy Mission Director Rebecca Ubanks has paid tribute to the many men who she said have helped women in championing what she described as generational equality. Madam Bukwam was speaking Wednesday at an event that marks the 2020 International Women's Day hosted by USAID. At the program, the USAID Liberia Deputy Mission Director stressed that with togetherness, a more gender equal world can be created.
Today, we will hear from some accomplished Liberian women and how they have overcome challenges and achieved success in their line of work. International Women's Day celebrates the accomplishment of women worldwide. I also want to thank the many men with us today who help champion the causes of women and are great allies in helping to make gender equality a reality. Together we can create a more gender equal world. I want to highlight a few of our successes at USAID in the fight for gender equity. We are working with many partners and the government of Liberia to address national policies, laws, and regulations to ensure legal frameworks treat women as equal citizens. Specifically, USAID Liberia is helping to support legislation to correct long-standing traditions that have denied women access to land and property rights. In 2018, the government of Liberia passed the Land Rights Act, which recognizes customary land ownership and ensures women and men have the right to own land. We commend the step towards greater equality for all Liberians. Additionally, in health, USAID Liberia focuses on reducing maternal mortality. We support extensive data collection through the Demographic Health Survey. This data allows us to have targeted programs and interventions, especially to address the specific health needs of rural Liberian women.
Well, serving as keynote speaker at the event Bond County District 6 Representative Mema Briggs Mensah urged women to continue to fight for their space as they have a lot to achieve.
We as women never cease to fight for a balance in the gender world. Because we have a lot to achieve, and the moment we get comfortable, we're not going to get that space we need. So let us never cease to fight for equal in the gender world. For me today is a fulfillment of the challenges many women went through and seeing myself among women leadership and wanting to make a difference. We are sick and we have made sure to tell women and to tell the men we are capable of doing everything they can do in leadership in any aspect that we are placed, because even society has shown us that women are less corrupt. So women, International Women's Day is a day that we should reflect on those women that strive to get us where we are today, that loves their lives, in preaching for women to find a place. Like I heard her saying 100 years ago, Liberia and America had the right for women to vote. We also have the same in common, but ours is 75 years ago. That was 1945. And the difference is in May that we had the right also. There are women that strive to get us there.
Stakeholders in the oil palm sector have been urged to transform the sector into agro-business to compete with other countries in the sub-region. The oil palm sector of Liberia is being regulated by the National Oil Palm Platform of Liberia with direct supervision by the Ministry of Agriculture and partners. Speaking at the opening of a two-day retreat in Monrovia, Agriculture Minister Jenny Kopo said commercializing the oil palm sector will boost production and gain global attention. Minister Cooper said the vision of the Agriculture Ministry under the current management team is to redirect the focus of agriculture into agro businesses. Justice Minister Musa Dean has stressed the importance of upholding human rights in Liberia as a surest way of sustaining democracy. Speaking at the opening of the three-day human rights report validation in Monrovia, Minister Dean reiterated government's commitment to respecting human rights.
In 2008, the government of Liberia established a steering committee to draft a plan of action in line with the 1993 Vienna Declaration and Program of Action. The action plan outlines how state parties intend to implement their human rights obligations. It prioritizes human rights issues and concerns, including compliance with regional and international human rights obligations. Since then, the Human Rights Action Plan Steering Committee has made tremendous progress in the advancement and protection of human rights in Liberia. Liberia has realized gains, especially in fulfillment of its treaty reporting obligations. Not too far back, Liberia was only in good standing with regard to reports due under the Convention on the Rights of the Child and the Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. Hence, Liberia began taking steps to address its backlog of treaty reports. The government opted to develop a national strategy for meeting treaty obligations, including treaty reports. The national strategy for meeting treaty reporting obligations was finalized on May 4, 2014. This document was produced after a series of critical discussions on a number of key points.
Also speaking at the program, the Assistant Director for the Center on Human Rights at the University of Pretoria, Kata Mongugi challenged the African continent to ensure human rights are protected.
We at the Center are truly appreciative of the immense efforts and commitment to this process that our colleagues have invested, but we are also really grateful to the Republic of Liberia and all of you representatives here for your own commitment and the investments that you have made in terms of time, in terms of your expertise, your contextual knowledge, and the resources that you have committed to this process. So for the benefit of those who may not have interacted with the Center for Human Rights before today, let me just make a few remarks of who we are. We are an academic department of the University of Pretoria in South Africa. And as an academic department, we certainly present certain academic programs. But we also have a dual nature, so we also have a non-governmental organization side of things to the work that we do. In this way, we work through advocacy and research through a number of units, which I will mention shortly. So generally, as a mode of work, the Center for Human Rights presents postgraduate academic programs. We also present short-term human rights education programs, and we provide advocacy and research on specific human rights issues with a very and deliberate effort towards focusing this on the African continent. So we are a Pan-African institution that is committed to protection of human rights on the African continent and beyond.
Well, viewers, if you just join us, it's a reminder you are watching Lntv News Live, and these are the top stories we're following. African Union's group of ambassadors named the head of Liberia's permanent representative to the Union, Ambassador Isaac Yanimo, as chair. Agriculture Minister urges stakeholders in the oil palm sector to transform the sector into agro-business venture. Liberian Immigration Service discloses the deportation of 5 Liberians from the United States on multiple charges. And on the international scene, Egypt executes the country's most wanted jihadists. We take a short break. When we come back, we continue with more developments. Please keep watching. Many thanks for rejoining us. Let's continue with more developments. As you have heard in the headlines, at least 5 Liberians were Wednesday morning deported to Liberia from the United States of America. The deported Liberians are said to have committed various state crimes ranging from aggravated assault, burglary, cocaine smuggling, and fraud, among others. Liberian Immigration Service, the LIS, Director of Communications, Abraham Dolan, made the disclosure in an ELBC interview Wednesday. Mr. Dolan said there should have been 8 deportees, but 3 persons were pardoned by the U.S. government after they took appeal. According to him, the Liberian deportees are expected to report to the headquarters of the Liberian Immigration Service for 3 months during their integration period. To this one now, next Wednesday, March 11, is Decoration Day, and Liberians will converge at various cemeteries to clean and decorate the graves of their family, friends, and loved ones. The Palm Grove Cemetery on Center Street in central Monrovia is one of Liberia's historical cemeteries that usually attract large number of people on that day. But the story at the Palm Grove Cemetery is changing from worse. Lntv visited the area, and this is what we found out.
You're looking at a kind of historical grave. I think this place should be, if the government can take care of this place, we'll break it down. Do you understand? Because we can't look at this grave that marked the history of this country. Even my great-grandfather was buried here. President Pro Tem brother Senator Edwin Morgan from Bassa County was senator. My grandmother was buried here. Even my grandfather was buried here. Guess what? This place is polluting the whole city. It has been used for a dump site. People come here, toilet here, do all kind of things in the grave. I don't think the government can afford to have the grave. Okay. One time Ellen talked about breaking it down, later on she changed, her plan changed. Look at all the people, all the moderation that Mary brought put here. It's gone. Okay. I got my great-grandfather was buried here. I got my two grandfathers were buried here. Grandfather, my my grandmother were buried here. My uncles all were buried here. But I got nowhere to locate that anymore. You understand?
Sure.
I'm a taxpayer. Okay. So if this place, government really need it, fix it. If they don't need it, demolish the whole thing. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
I will appeal to the government to do that.
This is Center Street, and this is the Palm Grove Cemetery. On this side of the grave is headed to the Granite Street side, while this side of the grave is headed to the Lane Street side. This place was commissioned in 1920, and since then, burials have been going on here. Many permanent Liberians have been buried here, like first president of Liberia, Joseph Jenkins Roberts, is also lying in this part of the graveyard. As you can see, the entire place today is lying in ruins. Since 2016, this place was planned to be demolished. That demolished process kicked off, but then it was laid to rest since former Bon County Senator, now Vice President of Liberia, Joel Howard Taylor, put that on hold. Today, this is all we have left here. On next week, Wednesday, we will have many Liberians coming here again to decorate the grave of their loved ones. And what are they expected to see are all that are here today. Chap Davis, ELBC News, Monrovia.
Well, at the same time, the Monrovia City Corporation, MCC, says transforming the Palm Grove Cemetery remains a key project for the entity.
The main activities that we met here at MCC, the modernization or the transformation of the Palm Grove Cemetery is one of those programs that caught our attention. So we still hold to that, to transform that area. I think you guys were around, even those who be listening to radio lands were been around and listen to the rigmarole around that process. But one thing we all need to understand, sometimes when people raise issues about these projects, not that they are against development, I think they want some detailed information. What's the intent? How are we going to benefit? What's the source of funding? Have you gotten this funding to get this job done? Can you do the job in the time frame you get? So you have to convince the public that you are serving to do those things. So we at the MCC, currently under the stewardship of the local law mayor Jefferson Koji, still believe that that project remains a cardinal project on our programs, to transform not just the Palm Grove Cemetery, but other cemeteries in around Monrovia. But that cemetery, Palm Grove, is going to be a pilot project that we're going to do the Palm Grove Cemetery. We'll go into other cemeteries. But are you going to come to that? Now, let me just go there. Why haven't we started job? The blueprint has been done, been turned over to us. We did our own in-house reviewing of the blueprint. It's a good job. That we're done. But resource mobilization is a major push.
3 apartments were Tuesday completely destroyed by fire in the reservoir community in Paynesville. According to a victim, David Akwe, the fire started in one of the apartments and later spread to the other 2 as a result of electrical shock. Speaking in an ELBC interview Tuesday, Mr. Akwe called on Liberian government and goodwill individuals to help them rebuild their lives as they have lost everything they ever owned.
Around 12 to 12:30, we only heard the door sound, knocking on knocking the door on us. Like, you should wake up, something going on, something going on, something going on. My thinking was that the armed robber entered the house. So my wife and myself started fighting on the door to have the door open. Luckily for us, my wife opened the door, we just saw the fire blazing up. There was no way to color the fire. Just blazing. I fought hard. All those that were in the house, I talked to them for everybody to get out of the house.
And do you care to tell what the cause of the fire?
The cause of the fire, to be frank with you, they are saying that current, but we were on bed, that it happened in one of the rooms, one of the rental suites.
How many rooms do you have in the house?
There are about 13 with 3 houses, 13 bedrooms.
Did anybody got injured or any death in the fire?
No death occurred because we were very, very careful of having everybody out of the house.
There may be some good people listening to you. And what do you have to say to them? What do you want them to do for you?
What I really want them to do is to the President of the Republic of Liberia to see reason for South. We are really downhearted. We don't know what to do. Everything, the 3 houses, everything is down zero. So we are asking the President and any other organization to help us.
Well, also narrating her ordeal following the incident, another victim, Ruth Akwe, had this to say.
Well, I never on bed. I left, I went to bed for 11:33. I left, I went inside. I prayed all to go to bed. After getting praying now, I went to bed. While lying now more, after 12 more to 1 o'clock, the nurse to the door, iron door, knocking the iron door, your cancer. Everybody shouting. Now I wake up my husband and say, the nurse too, I like your answer. When we get to the door, he to open the door now, and I tell the fire now catch the whole horse. The fire already going to our house. Before we look, he said, come open the door, I said, but you open the children in the house. And I went to pick up the children. Went in, I chopped the children outside. And I went back in the office. 2 hours about to go back in the house. I tell the fire open the house. Now I rushed to hold the paper to bring it outside. But actually, the Polar came from so. All of them came out before. We were the last that were in the house. There was only one that saved our life.
So meaning the fire started from the side?
It started on our big house or rented to our Birema. Now the Birema said, while we were lying at the baby getting one hard time, now when she looked, actually was waiting on her. When she looked up, she saw the fire blazing on our red. Now she was standing knocking everybody in the room not to count us. Your car. All of them came up before we even come to our own abroad to start again. At that time, the smoke already falling in the living room. And the smoke at the grace of God will live. Nothing will get all of the house. We are asking the government, the president, to help us, the vice president, to help us get nowhere to go now. We are homeless.
A fire victim, Ruth Akwe, in the Paynesville area, explaining her ordeal and also calling on well-meaning Liberians and the government of Liberia to come to their aid. Let's now take our foreign development. Egypt has executed Hisham Ashwami, a man once considered the country's most wanted jihadist. The state-owned Nile News TV channel quotes Egypt's military spokesman as saying the man was killed on Wednesday morning. Hisham Ashmawi, once an army officer, was found guilty of involvement in several high-profile attacks, including one in western Egypt in 2014 that killed more than 20 security personnel. He was also convicted of being behind a 2013 attempt to assassinate then Interior Minister Mohammed Ibrahim. Ashmawi was captured in eastern Libya by forces loyal to renegade commander Khalifa Haftar. Well, viewers, on that note, this is how we come to an end of LNTV News Live. But before we go, a recap of the major stories we followed. African Union's group of ambassadors named the head of Liberia's permanent mission to the Union Ambassador Ase Yanimo as chair. Agriculture Minister urges stakeholders in the oil palm sector to transform the sector into agro-business venture. Liberian Immigration Service discloses the deportation of 5 Liberians from the United States of America on multiple charges. And on the international scene, Egypt executes the country's most wanted jihadists. Many thanks to our entire production team for making tonight's edition a success. Many thanks to you, our valued viewers, for watching. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Cecilia Glickley Clark. I anchored. Good night from Paynesville.